Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Nerds of the Round Table, a weekly talk show where we react to and discuss the nerdy news. My name is Fred Sullivan, and with me, as always, is my good friend, Jack Rooney.
Fred never misses a beat. You were like, that's first take. Like, we haven't done this in a long time.
It feels like a long time.
Yeah, like a long time. It's been at least 2 weeks. She feels good getting back in that saddle.
Back in the saddle again.
It was a strong intro. Good job.
Ooh, yes, thank you. So have you been? It's been 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks for us, but only 1 week for our listeners.
Because they had a week off last week, apparently, which I don't know what happened.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. You were like, hey, you texted me, you were like, hey, everything's ready to go. Just like add a few things and post it. And I looked at that and I was like, that is a thing that future Jack will deal with. Because I think I was at work. when you texted me. And then I was like, well, Fred said, and then the only piece of that I remembered was
posted.
Everything's good to go. I was like, done.
Okay.
So, and then a week later, I'm uploading the new episode of Nerds Nuzlocke, which you should all go check out.
Nuzlocke. Hashtag Nerds Nuzlocke.
Hashtag Nerds Nuzlocke. And I'm uploading it, and I'm like, what is this? Why is this? Oh dear. What have I done?
I was like, I forget what you were like, here, put these images on there. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
The thumbnail's on there. Just put the description and the tags on.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And I was like, all right, I have other things I have to do. And apparently you were like, I have other things I have to do.
Yeah, and it was like a bad week
so apologies.
Forget. Yeah, sorry about that. But I mean, like, the thing is they got they missed a week when we would have had an episode and didn't miss a week when we wouldn't have had one. So it was really just a,
yeah. Well, the entire thing was it was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thursday. Usually we record on Thursdays, and then Friday was Black Friday, which
was not only my birthday, but also I had worked early in the morning. Yes. Like, there was no way that I was going to be like able to record, and then I was also closing Saturday and Sunday, so like the weekend was pretty much out.
Yeah, and I was busy in the morning on Saturday, and you were like,
I was like, dude, I was just like, realistically, there's no way, especially because I live a little bit farther away now. So
yes,
we have to make sure everything's planned. It was not going to happen. So I am sorry about the missed episode. I'm sorry about the episode a week late. But I think we're going to be back on track for this foreseeable future until Christmas.
Who the hell knows?
Who knows?
Welcome to the wild ride that is Nerds. I have no fucking clue what's going to happen.
But
what have you been playing?
Yeah, let's get back to what we normally do. I watched the 8th episode of Westworld, I think, out of 10 earlier this week. I was a week behind on that as well. And it's, like, incredible. The 9th episode is already out, but I made a deal with my fiance. I was like, what we're going to do is we're going to watch the 9th and 10th episode in the same night.
I thought it's already over.
Is it?
I think it wrapped last week.
Yeah, so that might be it then, because we have to watch the last 2, I think it's the last 2 episodes in a row. So if I'm 2 weeks behind on that, then so be it.
Yeah, I still haven't begun to watch that yet.
It's vitally important.
I know. It's not that I don't want to watch it. It was, like I said, as we said multiple times on the show now, I was told that I was going to watch it with people, and then those people watched it without me, Dave. And then it spiraled from there. Meaning that, like, it's just a matter of Kelsey and I watching at the same time, and, like, half the time there's just not enough time for that anyway. So like, we haven't even started watching Ash vs. the Evil Dead, which is a half hour long, and like, that's it. Yeah. That's every episode, and we haven't even started that yet. Mm-hmm. So bad time.
I think there are some questions about this later on when we get to viewer and listener questions. But if anyone's wondering where Dave is this week, he's not our permanent third. He's like not here this week. That's okay. Nothing weird is happening.
No, he's literally 10 feet above us as he usually is.
I think this week he's actually particularly sick, so he would have been utterly useless on the podcast anyway.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which also means that by entering this house, I've signed a contract that I didn't realize I was signing, in which I am going to be sick in a couple days.
I mean, maybe.
In all likelihood.
I don't know. I've been fine, but I was sick before them. So
great.
Yeah, I don't know. But Kelsey's still fine. She hasn't gotten sick during my death phase.
She's like the canary in the coal mine for me.
Apparently,
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
But as far as what I've been playing, I think so. Yeah, well, I've been watching Westworld. I've been playing. I finished the main storyline in Skyrim, which I was like, when I got Skyrim, I was like, I never finished the main storyline, and now having finished it, I was like, oh no, I totally did. Like I finished it a while, like, and it's like good, but it's not. It's not why you're playing. About, yeah, it's not why you're playing the game in the first place. There's some really cool like visual moments that are pretty spectacular to behold. But then it's also juxtaposed with like the standard Skyrim jankiness. So it's like, oh man, look at that beautiful sky and this like
why is that dragon driving
like
flying sideways?
Yeah, and it's like, wait, that dragon's stuck in the ground. Like, so it looks like it's swimming through the ground. That's not how it's supposed to be.
What is going on right now?
Maybe I should uninstall some of these mods. But no, it's been a fun ride. But I think I was ready for the next thing, which to me was Pokemon, which I ordered before I finished Skyrim, anticipating that it would get there when Amazon fucking said it would get there, not realizing that I ordered it like the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, which goes into Black Friday. So they weren't gonna get it there then, and they weren't gonna get it there that weekend. But it arrived yesterday, only one day late. So I guess I gotta forgive them on that. And they delivered something else today, which is a day earlier than I had ordered.
So like, we're making it up to you.
Yeah, I was like, well, a plunger and a cutlery organizer is not as cool to me as getting Pokemon on time, but that's fine.
I don't know, dude. I'll tell you, anytime that I get stuff in the mail from Amazon, it's always like a little Christmas. Yeah. I don't care what it is.
Well, yeah, Pokemon came with a vacuum cleaner and a pair of pajama pants, and the package arrived, and my fiance will tell you, I immediately took off my pants, put on the new pajama pants, built the vacuum cleaner, and then opened up Pokemon. I was like just as excited about these other things as I was about Pokemon.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's how it goes. I mean, especially because when you put that vacuum cleaner right on it.
Yeah. I mean, I was jamming it in to connect the two pieces of it because it's a really simple vacuum that you can connect and disconnect. Are we talking about two different things?
I was talking about putting the suction on your penis.
I was talking about constructing a vacuum.
I was talking about put the suction on your penis.
Yeah, no, I knew that.
Oh, okay. I had a feeling you were just trying to play me there, and you got me.
But
well done,
my opinion on Pokemon so far, I've only played it for like 3 hours. My problem with it so far is that it still feels like I'm in the middle of the tutorial. Like, the game hasn't cut me loose yet, and I'm like, God, I hope this isn't the whole thing. This is a very...
what is it still doing that?
It's like, you can't, like, go everywhere. It still interrupts you every 100 feet for, like, this character to talk to you, or, like, this...
That's every Pokemon game, though.
But no, I mean, there are large swaths of Pokemon, of, like, time spent within Pokemon where, like, nobody talks to you. And, like, you can run around and explore and do these different things, and I'm, like, waiting for that moment to come. And it hasn't arrived yet. Like, I can't even access a Pokemon Center yet.
Oh, in 3 hours?
I feel like I'm at least... And, like, I've been kind of grinding through the areas, leveling up my Pokemon to where I want them to be, and, like, trying to catch all the Pokemon within a certain area. So, like, that's a little bit extended from what probably the average player would expect.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm, like... I cannot believe that I can't even go to a Pokemon Center. I cannot believe that I can't even buy items yet. Like, I cannot...
That's a little weird.
Yeah, but, I mean, like, I've only heard good things about the game, so I'm sure it
probably opens up.
Yeah, and, like, already you start the game and you can run. And, like, I've heard that they cut the need for HM slaves, so, like, you don't have to have a Pokemon...
Yeah, they can remove it from there now.
Yeah, so, like...
what has always been needed, because that's been such a waste of an inventory, like a move. A move as well as just like a character slot in some cases, because you literally just use them as your HM slave,
your ship Pokemon.
Yeah, that one's going to be...
happens to know Surf. So.
It's getting but not
Surf
even
would actually be useful.
Yeah, Surf is useful. I'm talking about Flash, Rock Smash, Strength, and Cut. That's what that motherfucker is.
You're in a bad state when you come into a rock or steel fight and your best move is Rock Smash. And you're just like, this is going to be bad.
You're like, well, I did not prepare properly for this.
Wasn't ready for this.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been doing. So.
Okay. So I'll start out with what I've been playing. So I've been playing Watch Dogs 2, pretty much exclusively.
Right.
It's pretty much all I've been playing.
There's a little bit of controversy about that in the West.
The boobies and vaginas and dicks. Yeah, I mean...
Knerds podcast, raising the level of discussion around games.
Oh, yes. Talking about vacuum cleaners on penises. Vacuum cleaner on penises and nudity in video games. So there's a nudist colony in San Francisco.
I didn't realize it just went straight there.
Well, no, that's where you find this. Like,
Okay.
you'll see it around the world as well, but, like, this is
good.
not as blatantly as you would
Sure.
expect. Like, this is, like, the one area of the game that you go that, like, in real San Francisco is a nudist colony.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's where they go. And, there's just women there with their breasts and their vaginas hanging out while the dudes also have their shit hanging out. Like, I saw this, I stumbled upon the area itself, because it's actually, in the game, there's a thing called Scout X.
You go to Fred's, like, search history, and it's just, like,
DX,
where to find nudist colony. Gotta find nudist colony. Seriously, where's this nudist colony?
It's actually, like, right near, I think, 3 things you have to, like, photograph in the game. Like, it's something that you only have to do 25 times, but I proceeded to do all 57 locations in the game for some stupid reason. But it was right near there. You walk behind a building, and boom, there it is, right? And
there they are.
Yeah, just
In
a
all
guy
their
and a girl
glory.
just sitting there with all their glory, right? And then an update came out a few days later, and apparently resolved all these. So I was, curiosity, I was like, let me go see.
Oh, yeah.
There are now, like, at least, like, it looks like towels or something around their waist that makes so you cannot see their genitalia.
Okay.
But women still have their breasts out.
Sure.
So,
kind of that softer
It's-
nudity.
dude,
I mean,
like-
like, it's okay. So here's the thing. I absolutely do not have a problem with, like, any part of human sexuality being displayed in a game.
No.
The issue arises from, like, ratings, really, and
which
like
it's rated M.
if it's rated M, and that's M is 17,
17 plus.
17 plus. I mean, like, technically, I guess it would be better if it was 18 plus, but, like, whatever, really.
Well, those games are adult only and they don't sell.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so the question is anything in there, do you think, graphic enough to justify an adult-only rating?
No, because you can Google these images and you see those images. So
then, like, I don't understand where all the hubbub comes from. I mean, if
parents. Always is parents, dude. Like,
it's fucking parents.
It's how it is. They're like, oh, I bought this game for my kid and there's vaginas in it? What?
Well, I mean,
I thought
that
the game is rated M. It says Watch Dogs. It doesn't mean
What
fucking
is it?
pussy
Does
game.
it say? Does it explicitly say partial nudity or just nudity?
I'm pretty sure it says nudity.
At that point, like, you are on your own. It is the Wild West out there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, whenever it says 2 things for parents is when it gets, right?
Yeah.
Nudity, even partial nudity, I put those in together.
Oh yeah.
Sexual content.
Yeah.
Even strong sexual content.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
what are you expecting? Like,
Yeah.
that's in the game. You look at, like, your job as a parent when you're buying video games is to view the ratings and see if it's appropriate for your kids.
Yeah.
They just never have done that. And this is a case that we made for years and years and years,
Yeah.
and it never changes. But,
Yeah, I mean, you could
it's-
look a parent in the eye at GameStop and be like, extreme violence, partial nudity.
what game was
strong
it?
sexual content. It's
think
probably
it was Red Dead Redemption.
GTA or Red Dead. Yeah, either one.
Red Dead Redemption, I
anything
was
made
like,
by Rockstar.
literally vagina.
Yeah,
Like, literally vagina.
And, like, we're making a big deal about this, but, like, I think we're both on the side of, like, hey, it's your game, it's your art, do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. But, like, if you are the type of person that is going to care about this, then you should also be the type of person that is checking
actively
ratings.
checking.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
that's it's always, I think it's a consumer responsibility thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're making now. I mean, it didn't seem to be too big of a deal for them to fix.
No.
Almost like maybe they expected it to happen. But at the same time, it's like they released the game this way to make it as accurate as a representation of San Francisco and the Bay Area that it possibly could have been.
And it's also a reflection of the culture from which Ubisoft extends. You know?
Like
Like,
Ubisoft is in San Francisco as well.
yeah, and they're country based. They're based in the country of France, which is
Yeah.
a much more, like,
Just
laissez-faire.
open.
Like, yeah.
They don't like violence, but they don't mind nudity.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's more Europe across the board to some
Exactly.
degree, but, like, it's always a question of, does the United States have its priorities set, like, correctly? And you can make that argument in 100 different ways. I would say probably not. I don't think we do.
it's nothing is in its right way. But
And second of all, like, it is on the consumer themselves to look into these things.
Yeah.
If the information, if they are offering the information to you, and nobody's trying to hide the rating from you, then it is on you.
yeah,
So
always is. Anyway,
Sorry.
going back to the actual game. The game is enjoyable. I like it a lot. It's the representation of the Bay Area is what really got me. Like, I've been playing this game for however many hours now. It's been numerous, over 20. And I found myself for the first couple of hours just kind of wandering the city. Just looking at sites, like, oh, I've been here. Ooh, go around the corner. Oh, I've been here too. Like, just as like someone that has admires San Francisco as it is as well, like it being there is awesome. Now, there's some things that I do have at the game that I think are not wrong, but like I wish that they would expand out a little bit as well, where there are only a few missions in like Oakland, for example, right? There were only a few missions in Marin. Given Marin County is small in the game, and Oakland is relatively small as well, but I didn't feel like they utilized the areas as much as they could have. And the only reason why I found myself there so much is because to platinum the game, which is like some people recommend it because you have to take a picture of somebody vomiting in the game for a trophy, right? And like some people said to go to this particular area and just run up and down the boardwalk and try to catch it. And like that was in Oakland, so I spent a couple of hours there because of that. But as far as like main missions go, it's like maybe 5 hours worth.
I mean, they're probably trying to focus much more on like the San Francisco part.
Well, San Francisco and Silicon Valley is what they really try to focus on, and that's fine. I mean, the game is good. Like, it's still enjoyable. There's almost like exploits you can do almost because like you don't really have to do anything with your character if you don't want to. You can just send bots out and like
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you get like a little drone. You get a drone and you get like a regular
RC
bot.
car?
Yeah, like an RC car bot. And you can get a jump upgrade on the bot and just break the game. Because you can, like, jump onto, like, a fence, and, like, before it realizes that you're on a fence, you tap the button again, and it'll just jump off the fence. And you have no tires on anything. So there's some exploits with the game, but it's part of the
I guess when you're making an open world game, like, they're not going to detail it that. Yeah.
No, it's not something that you can really, I guess, fix or prevent in some way. But the game is enjoyable. It's very very easy to platinum the game as well and get like the full experience of it if you wanted. It's the characters are fun. Like Wrench, I like a lot. Josh's funny way. I believe he's like autistic or has autistic tendencies, and his character is funny because just the way he speaks in some certain circumstances. But like there was just a character that was kind of like killed off in the game. I'm not going to mention who, but like you feel it for like that mission line. You're like, oh man, that's serious. And then they just never mention his name again. Like I haven't heard his name since. I was like, okay, cool.
All right.
Guess you're not focusing too much on the story.
But you're enjoying the game overall?
Yeah. I'm on the last mission. Cool. I'm probably going to complete that tonight. And that'll probably be it with that game. And then I'm going to give it to Dave. But
cool.
I did like the multiplayer stuff and everything already, which that was like the hardest part to it, just because finding people to play online with. But other than that, it was good.
So here's my
I was going to get into what I was watching, but if you
my last question for you with Watch Dogs 2 is this the Assassin's Creed 2 to Assassin's Creed that everyone wanted it to be?
Yeah, it's
you think so?
Significant jump. It's fun is the thing, right?
Yeah.
Is that even though like it is an open world game and you can kind of just do whatever you want, and I think that's perfectly fine. But like even with that, the characters are enjoyable. It's not like Aiden Pierce in the first game, who's just a
sad sack, wet blanket.
He's just kind of a wet blanket. He's like a board. He doesn't really have any emotions. They try to invoke emotions out of you in the game, but like nothing major. Yeah. But this one, you actually do like feel. You have fun interactions with these characters. Like you feel bad when things happen to them and stuff like that.
You feel an actual connection to it.
Yeah, like the characters are actually drawn out, and it's fun.
Cool.
So I enjoy it. I would recommend it. I mean, especially right now, I don't know if it's going to be when this episode comes up, but it's like $40 right now on PSN.
Oh, cool.
So it's on sale, which is pretty good. Like, I'm almost debating about getting the season pass now.
Sure.
So, but we'll see. But anyway, things I'm watching. Mainly, I'm just going to mention Dragon Ball. So, I know I told you guys many times I was going to do a nerding out about it. I don't think that's on the cards. I just have no time anymore.
Sure.
But I will tell you, this most recent season, or saga, if you will, of Dragon Ball Super has been my favorite thus far, until the last episode of the saga. And it gets real fucking weird. But
don't spoil it.
No. Okay. I told you because you're not going to ever watch it. But they did actually release the English voice cast, which is essentially the same as the original Dragon Ball Z, which is good. One notable miss on there is Laura Bailey. Not going to be on there. She's not going to be Kid Trunks this time around. But anyway, the most recent season is probably my favorite of all Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. It has my favorite character in it again. Big plus. Mm-hmm. He's a badass. He gets his ass kicked a lot. Like there's a lot of back and forth in it, and it was almost drawn out too long. And then right when you think it was about to get drawn out too long, it ends appropriately until the last episode, and that's when everything loses. So, if you were interested, that's kind of what my feelings are on it. I don't know if anybody's actually watching it right now because it's technically not on there unless you have the Funimation app, but there is that. Cool. That. So let's get into the actual news because we're in 22 minutes.
Yeah, a bit longer than our usual shit.
Well, that's my fault. Yeah. How you doing?
Well, we'll just bang through the rest of them and get to the questions. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is a game that is... I don't even know how to describe my relationship with this game. No Man's Sky.
Yes.
The advertising standards, other A word. I'm going to go
Association.
with... Association?
Assets.
Whatever.
Ass.
Why is this not on here? I'll figure it out later.
Jeez.
They ruled in favor of Hello Games, and I guess Steam was part of it as well, that No Man's Sky had not violated any like false advertising standards in their promises about No Man's Sky. I don't know what they specifically were like citing as issues, but it seems to have passed by. They decided that the complaints were not, at least not valid enough to pursue a more like a harsh
further
punishment. Further legal action, I guess. Yeah. So that's a win for Hello Games, but it's a sad situation that they got themselves in the first place. But
I mean, it was also in part to the overreaction of the fans and whatnot as well. But yeah. I mean, we've been on both sides of the discussion, but I don't think there's any more to say on it.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of fault that lies in both sides.
Yeah, absolutely.
But whatever, we can get into that some other time, possibly. Actually, I think we've talked it to death.
We've talked it to death and twice.
But
it came back like Supernatural.
Yeah.
And fucking got put down again.
In good news for No Man's Sky, they released their update 1.1, which is the Foundation update.
Yes.
Which adds some of the features that I feel like a lot of us had hoped would be in No Man's Sky, even if they hadn't explicitly promised them, or if they had said that like this is what we're aiming for or something like that. I don't remember exactly what their advertising said in the first place, but this, I was just watching this with our friend Dave, who I tricked into buying No Man's Sky.
Or as he says.
Yeah, no. I showed him No Man's Sky, I was enjoying it, and so he picked it up.
Yeah.
And then within a week he was done.
Yeah.
Which is like totally fair, because within like 2 or 3 weeks I was done as well.
That's true.
But what this brings to the game is construction. You can build new features on planets as far as like, creating new save points for your character to use, attaching automated mining things to resources that will generate continuous resources for your character.
That makes sense.
You can build bases on planets and stuff like that.
That's what everyone wants. Yeah, they just want a place to call home.
Exactly. It's making it a little bit more Minecrafty. And one of the, there's like a whole slew of upgrades that, I'm not going to really get into. You guys should go check out the trailer if you have any interest in the game. Or if you felt that, or like if you purchased the game and felt kind of burned by it, maybe check this out, see if it's enough to bring you back in. But one of the coolest things I thought about it was that you can, at, quote, great expense, purchase a freighter that you can summon from wherever you are in the galaxy, that you can dock your own ship in and build out as a base for your character or as like a trading vessel. So you can store tons of resources in there, fly to another galaxy with better trading opportunities, and sell your stuff there. Come back, pick up more,
which is the much better option of the two between building a house on planet and in
you
space.
Can do both. That's the thing.
But I'm saying like much better option.
Yeah,
do the freighter.
Spend your money in the freighter first. Yeah, and then inside the freighter there's at least one section of it where you can do the same base building but in the freighter. So it kind of like bringing the best of both worlds together.
Yeah,
definitely.
Exactly.
But I don't know how expensive it is. So it's like, yeah.
I don't know what the currency is. What's a lot? What's
a lot? It's all pipes.
All pipes.
But it's the reason I want to talk about this is because they are calling this a Foundation update, not only because you can build things in it, which is very clever of them, but also because they intend to build on it with even more features that I was saying to our friend Dave are almost definitely going to be free, because there's pretty much no way they could justify to their fans or anyone charging for anything at this point.
No.
So what I'm assuming is that they made their foundation update, and they're going to continue to bring what the fans wanted, and what I'm sure what they wanted to bring to the original game.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe with that, bring along more people to purchase the game and support them and continue to build in the game. Kind of like Terraria did for you.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. If this ends up being half of what Terraria did, I would be ecstatic. And to kind of bring this discussion a little bit more into your realm, I am thinking of this a little bit more along the lines of Destiny, where the vanilla game had nothing of what I wanted in it.
Yeah.
And this is a very personal thing. Like, there's a lot of people who loved vanilla Destiny. That's fine.
I was one of them.
I think you're wrong, but that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, we disagree. But, like, House of Wolves, and then, like, The Taken King, and, all these things that made Destiny new again and brought in more of the elements that I thought were cool.
Yeah.
An actual story. But, no, I still don't know if Destiny reached what I wanted it to be, but, like, I had grand notions for what I thought that
everybody had different expectations for that game, and I don't think it lived up to everybody's hype.
Sure. But do you think this is kind of a similar situation?
It definitely could be.
I hope so.
I think the way I described it before was like maybe could be like in terms of Destiny, like the Dark Below kind of expansion.
Sure.
Where it's the first one to kind of get the feeler out there, and it's like show people that you are producing content and you want to build on this world.
Yeah. It's a show of good faith, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's certainly more robust than the Dark Below was, because the Dark Below was almost essentially just a raid.
Yeah, here's
that was it.
2 quests and a raid.
Yeah, it was just like, all right, here you go, and that was it. And then, House of Wolves expanded on it a little bit more, and then, like, The Taken King is the one that we look at, like, this is Destiny. Like, this is a new Destiny, like 1.5. And I don't know if this is that big yet, but as you said, it's a foundation, something to build on. Maybe it gets to that point later on.
Yeah.
We just have to kind of wait and see. But it's a good sign, for sure.
It's a good sign. And I hope it works out. Because, like, I really wanted No Man's Sky to be everything that I dreamed it would be. And now that they're getting closer, I'm, like, afraid to let myself be positive or even a little bit excited about the game again. Because, like, God forbid, it doesn't quite reach it.
No, it's going to be bad. It's going to be real bad.
I kind of have to tell myself that so that I won't get too excited. But this is actually, I mean, so far, this is a good week for gaming. Like, some weeks we talk about games and it's, like, all negative. But, like, but, like, in other positive news, Final Fantasy 15 came out, and it's apparently not shit. Yeah. Which is kind of what I had thought it could be, because Final Fantasy fans never catch a break.
But I think it's what is that company? Square Enix.
Square Enix.
I don't know if that entire company does anything. It seems a little. Sometimes any Square Enix fans kind of get screwed over.
Yeah, I mean, like, either so
delays
whenever Square Enix publishes something, like when they support Crystal Dynamics to make Lara Croft, or when they Eidos Montreal does Deus Ex, like, those are great.
Yeah, when they're
publish
a publisher.
Everything. Yeah.
But when they're a developer,
when it's like their own thing. I think their last like thing that a lot of people really loved was Bravely Default, which was like an RPG for the 3DS. I don't know a lot about it.
No,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I feel like we're gonna get like Trevor. Probably.
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna be like, here are the 5 games.
He's like, let me beat you down with the knowledge stick, you son of a bitch. Mainly to me.
Which I always appreciate Trevor. But yeah. It's just like, he always seems to think of the thing that I wasn't thinking of and then tweets it at me, and I'm just like, I'll beans.
Go beans. I'm thinking on the spot. He's doing research.
No, but it's all very exciting, especially for, I'm excited for Final Fantasy fans. It's always good when a good game comes out.
This is big, because this is 15 years in the making.
Yeah, something like
10
that.
Years.
10 years.
But I was making fun of it being Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, and like, there's always those jokes that like, Naughty Dog released 3 or 4 incredible games in that time.
Yeah.
Now,
this game isn't perfect by everyone's their reasoning, but
sure,
at least it's not bad or mediocre or even good. Apparently it's great. It's a great game.
And the discussion that I wanted to bring to you is is there any chance that The Last Guardian is received as well as Final Fantasy 15 is? Like, is Final Fantasy 15 the game that's been in development for 10 years that makes it, and Last Guardian isn't? Do you think it has any shot at being received as well as Final Fantasy? So. I know. Like, these are two games that neither one of us are playing, but like,
yeah.
When you think about expectations, when you think about the kind of expectations that get built up over that period of time, it's incredible that people are enjoying Final Fantasy 15 at all.
Yeah, I mean, so the way I'm looking at it, right, is that Final Fantasy, the thing that it had in advantage over Last Guardian is the fact that there was 14 other ones beforehand, more than that.
Yeah, I suppose.
And which they've had an idea of what people like.
Yeah,
you know, like it's a certain combat system.
Yep.
It's a certain type of gameplay. Lore, you could change it around. You know, like it's the story you tell is the story you tell.
Sure.
But Last Guardian, this is their third? This is their third game?
They made Eco, Shadow,
and then Shadow of Colossus, right?
And then The Last Guardian, yeah.
So they haven't made a game since PlayStation 2.
Yeah, and this isn't like Shadow of the Colossus 2, where they know what worked with Shadow of the Colossus 1. Yeah. This is like a new thing again.
IP. People might not know of their legacy.
I'm worried, man. I was like afraid that Final Fantasy 15 would come out, be bad, and the gaming world would burn down around it. And now I'm like, oh, okay, that was the first one.
Like, all right, let's see what happens. Gonna get mad.
Yeah, let's see what happens with this next one. But
I think this has less of a chance to succeed compared to Final Fantasy.
So do I, and that's part of what makes me like simultaneously sad and worried for these people.
I mean, at least one of them was good, right?
At
least we can say one of them was good.
Yeah.
So.
But you know what other game is really good that's coming to consoles soon?
What's that?
Stardew Valley, which I
don't know what that game is. I never played.
Really?
It. I know.
Oh no, you know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I played some Stardew Valley on PC. Every time I tried to get more into it, something else came by and distracted me.
I was gonna say, was your Mac ready to die?
Well, no, it was okay, but it was like, yeah.
Because that seems to be a lot of the times when you're trying to play a game, your Mac just wants to fucking
what was causing my Mac some trouble was it was only available. The problem initially was that it was only available for PC. So I would be streaming it in my house from my PC where I didn't feel like playing it to my Mac where I could like bring it around with me wherever I was sitting, watch some TV, play some Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
I couldn't really manage that with the PC. And then it finally comes out for Mac and I start to play it there and I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted. I can play it on, on the go where I want. It's not too like heavy on graphics or like whatever you need to do to make a game run.
Yeah.
Whatever computers need to make games run. I don't know what it is, but it's not too. It didn't hurt my Mac.
Oh, okay.
But like then that's when something else came by. That's when there was another game I had to play. So so I'm excited to get another shot at playing it. I think I probably will buy it again. Did you ever play any of the Harvest Moon games?
No.
Okay. This isn't for you. You can go. You're dismissed.
Well, the way I look at it is like a lot of those games, like we were just talking about Final Fantasy and we're talking about like Last Guardian. Like this is along the lines of like an Animal Crossing type of game. Am I correct?
A little bit. It's like Animal Crossing if the people that you met in town were animals that you forced to breed and then you sold their children.
Oh,
it's kind of like that. Or
I'm not into any of those games.
Or if they were plants that you grew. It's more like it's kind of like that, except that Animal Crossing has a lot actually of like randomness to it in terms of like the layout of your town and like the people that can come and live in your town in Animal Crossing and the relationships that you can develop with them, Whereas like Harvest Moon and Stardew Valley are games that have a set town with set events that will happen, and you have like a large portion of that town where like you have your farm and you can build yourself like a ranch and raise animals, or you can dedicate all of it to, plants and like, make an orchard or make like, make yourself a potato farmer or something. I don't know, whatever.
I do love those spuds.
Yeah. Or like you can grow whatever you want really, and like, so you have all the agency that you want and all the random chance that you want, like in your farm, on your ranch, whatever. But like what happens in town, you can give gifts to people. You can build up relationships with like already well-formed characters, like well-written characters. Whereas like Animal Crossing, it's kind of like these people could be anyone, like they are all set to kind of like just do similar things, or like, they're all based on a template. Whereas like Harvest Moon, Harvest Moon, and Stardew Valley. It's like they created this world with these characters, with this narrative that's running through the whole thing, and that's the point, you know.
Yeah, no, that's not for me.
No, it's not. I wasn't kidding when I said this is not going to be... Like, if you don't already love Harvest Moon, I don't feel like you... I mean, you could. Someone out there totally could. Like, try out Stardew Valley. It's got great art, wonderful music. Everything is awesome. But you would kind of have to be already into games like Animal Crossing or like Harvest Moon, too.
Yeah, no, not me. Sir.
Not for you.
Not
but
me.
A big deal for me. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's why it's on this fucking list.
Good for you.
And when you build the list, you can put whatever you want in here.
Okay. I'm going to talk about the CW crossover event now, because Jack doesn't watch it.
Well, we probably should talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
We'll see if we have time.
Yeah. Have you watched any of it though?
No, not even a bit, not a smidge, not one episode of the whole thing, not even a minute of the whole thing.
It's fucking awful.
I know. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not.
The 100th episode was very, very touching.
Right in the feels.
Right in the feels.
Okay.
Punched you right in the feels. Played Rochambeau with your feels.
Jeez. All right. I don't have a clever segue for this. So, no new Battlefield for a couple of years. Says Blake Jorgensen. Which isn't really a surprise.
No.
The reason I have this on the list is mostly because he gets into talking about what we can expect from the next Battlefront game.
Yeah.
Which he says every company says is bullshit, right? But he says they carefully considered the feedback from fans. They know that fans want more. And we saw some similar rhetoric around Titanfall 2, where they actually did give fans more, gave them a campaign that I would say a vast majority of people seem to really like. I haven't played it personally. We've heard some mixed opinions from some people that we follow, but I'd say it seems like the vast majority of people enjoy Titanfall 2's campaign and are happy that it's there. It's building off of a foundation that was like strong on multiplayer and like kind of weak in a lot of other areas. So, I mean, is there a chance that Battlefront follows a similar path and we actually get a cool Star Wars story out of it? Or do you think they just kind of give people even more of the multiplayer stuff? Like, what does he mean by more, do you think?
I'm hoping that, and I'm sure many other people do as well, that it is a single-player campaign. Single-player campaign would be awesome. I hope that, possibly it would, a storyline or like a series of storylines would stretch from the original trilogy all the way up till the episode 7. Or even prequels. But... not really. Don't do prequels.
Don't feel like you have to stretch
Don't
too far.
feel obligated to do those.
But one thing he does bring up, and I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you.
No,
but he brings up the fact that they are gonna in this new one be able to use assets from episode 8,
which is awesome.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to bring that in. While you're talking about
Loren.
Yeah, Kylo Loren, and like all those other new crazy planets and cool X-wings.
Yes. I mean, it's exciting now. When they say more, obviously we're all hoping for single player. Realistically, there might be like I don't remember which Battlefront it was, but I think it was just like operations that like it would be like a single like mission of sorts.
Yeah, like some horde mode stuff or some
kind of but it was almost like, if I remember correctly, kind of like rush mode from Battlefield, where like you would go to this point, destroy this objective, and then you continue on, battle through, blah blah blah, get to the next point, destroy this objective, blah blah, and then rinse and repeat, right? I don't know if it's going to be more stuff like that, where it's just like small missions and not like an overall campaign that gives you like a collective story, or if it's just going to be that and maybe like a mostly multiplayer, in which it seems that they're probably going to want to do that because it's
where the money is. Right?
It's successful. They're going to probably have another season pass.
Yeah.
They're going to have more characters involved.
I still feel like they could sell more if they included if they were able to advertise a well-written, well-thought-out Star Wars campaign.
I mean, you're going to get a lot of fans that wanted Battlefront as like the original kind of Battlefront.
Yeah.
You'll bring those fans back in, which, I mean, to say if that's worth it for the money or whatever it might be, at least you build up your fan base a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that would be nice, right? But I also wonder about like most of the narrative-focused talent going to like Visceral, who is, I think, owned by EA as well.
Yeah.
And like that's where they're focusing most of their narrative strength. I think we've had something similar to this conversation before, where like that's probably where they're focusing most of their narrative stuff, and Battlefront is their multiplayer thing.
That's why I have a feeling there's going to be like single player kind of missions where it's just you doing these objectives in a battle.
I think what we had talked about was something similar to Battlefield 1, where it was like these like short, like not short, but these like you're in this battle now, you're in this battle now, you're doing this thing,
the transitioning between battles.
And what I want is character and narrative that's kind of threaded throughout all of it, and what I am not gonna get is I think exactly that.
No, you're probably not.
Yeah.
Especially because this is also, if you look at even just the original trilogy to episode 7, big time difference, big time gap.
Yeah.
If you go even further to the prequels, even bigger time gap.
Yeah.
So who the hell knows?
But speaking of other Disney properties,
Yes.
Doctor Strange crossed the 600 million worldwide mark, which is a big deal.
It's
the single strongest opening for like a character. I totally fucked up that whole thing.
Yes, you did.
It is the biggest single character intro
in
Marvel's history, which is big when you consider the other properties that they work with.
Yeah.
But maybe not as big when you consider the just ever-growing popularity of Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that Marvel can do no wrong, and every time they release something, it goes
better than the last one. Yeah.
Somehow they find more people to go to theaters.
Yeah.
And put more butts in seats, some way, somehow, right? And I think that, honestly, this may have been one of the more original ones, like, since Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it. Did you see it?
No, so I wanted to... No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
But the reason we were kind of tossing back and forth is, like, do we attribute this to the growing popularity of Marvel, or do we attribute this to kind of a refreshing take on a superhero in a Marvel universe?
I mean, a lot of people would probably say that it is just because it's Marvel and go with it, but I think it's also a refreshing idea, and I think it is probably, I mean, mostly because it's Marvel, but I think that the people that are intrigued by it, I think it's certainly, like, it was worth a look, and once they saw the ratings for it out, it was actually getting good ratings, they probably were enticed to see it.
Well, I mean, speaking just from someone who, like, I definitely will see the movie at some point, probably not in theaters at this point. I think it's passed me by... No, like, as in I'm saying, like, I'm not going to...
Well, you live right next to a theater. You have no excuse.
Right,
and it's my favorite
It's like 15 minutes away.
It's you work right next to it.
I work right next to it.
You work directly next to it.
After work, I want to go home.
God.
Anyway, no, I have a feeling I'm not going to see it in theaters, if I'm being totally honest with myself. But I do want to see it at some point. But as someone who just looked at trailers, it was, from the trailers, the most strikingly different appearing Marvel movie.
Yes.
So
visuals.
I wonder if the name... Yeah, exactly. The visuals in particular. And also the character. I mean, he doesn't look like a traditional superhero. So that's kind of cool. So I think it probably lies somewhere in the middle. I think it has a lot more to do with Marvel just being popular as ever. But I think there is probably, like, it is one of the more refreshing looks at not only a superhero, but what that universe is and what it means, you know? It's true.
I mean, character as well as actor. Benedict Cumberbatch is not a small-time actor.
No.
So
he's a big deal.
Yeah, he's a pretty big deal. So he's probably going to bring in some butts that probably wouldn't have gone otherwise to the seats. So that also could contribute to it.
Yeah. But
see it if you haven't. It's good.
It's not always easy to refresh something that has been long dead. And in that regard, that was a bad transition.
It was a terrible transition. What were you talking about?
I was thinking about Doctor Strange. Like, nobody talked about Doctor Strange in the last 10 years.
I mean,
nobody fucking cares about
Doctor Strange. That was a real stretch.
Until right now.
You didn't even like warm up.
It's bad.
Before
no,
you
I was thinking. I was like,
oh,
what can I say? It was one of those. I was like, oh, what am I gonna? And like, honestly, I hadn't been listening to you for the past 10 minutes while I thought about how I was gonna transit.
Cool.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, I think we're done here.
Anyway, Rita Repulsa looks like shit. So,
I mean,
I think she looks fine, but I have no connection to the original.
It's a something. So, you're not a Power Rangers fan. So
no, and that's exactly why I think it's fine. And now you can go ahead and say no.
So I'll say that, like, I was a Power Rangers fan, but, like, not enormous like a lot of people are now. Like, you'll see people dressed up as Power Rangers and whatnot. Like, I'm not that enthralled into it, but seeing the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, like, you know what you want to expect, right, from an original movie, like a new movie based on the original Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And then when you see this image, you're like, what?
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, I'm going to give this entire thing a chance. Because I don't know where they're going, like what type of style they're going with, if they're going with a more realistic look or what. Because obviously Power Rangers, completely over the fucking top.
Yeah. And like that's, okay, so that's, you're going straight into the point that I was going to make.
Okay.
Which is like, as someone who's not a fan and who can be pretty objective about this whole thing, what the fuck did you expect? Like, and I'm not saying you. I'm saying like fans in general. Like, this is Power Rangers. I don't even know if Power Rangers is still on in some form, but like the Power Rangers that they are basing this on has been dead and gone for a while, right?
96,
and it was totally over the top, totally hokey, which is like part of its charm. I get that. I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't like the original Power Rangers.
Yeah,
I'm saying that if you were going to make a movie after that for modern viewers, for like kids these days, for like people who have come to expect a certain something from Hollywood, you cannot sell them on the original Power Rangers. It probably won't happen.
I mean, the thing is, right, is that in like defense of somebody that is a big fan for it, like you can say like you can update those original models, because obviously the Megazord from the original trilogy or the original series was just like cardboard boxes. Yeah, it was literally just like a box uniform, and the guys are.
I thought you were going to say it was cool, and I was like, I mean,
it was cool for that time, you know. Like, but like the suits, they were all like it was just spandex, you know, like it's
whatever material they could find on the side of the road.
Yeah, but like to update that in a modern way, you could definitely do, and you can make it look cool.
Maybe,
In complete honesty, like if I'm going to make a comparison, Ismahawk released the Power Rangers Voltron video.
Sure.
If you were to put those the model of that Megazord into a new movie, it looks modern, it looks cool, and it fills every fan's kind of want from the movie. Yeah. And the suits that they had weren't like over the top, but it was an homage to it. And it was just a fancier looking spandex with the helmet. Yeah. And the helmet was pretty similar looking but different, right? When then you look at all this stuff, and like it's essentially Iron Man suits that they're wearing, and the Megazord is not like mechanical looking. He almost looks like an organism of sorts, because it looks like he can make fluid movements. Yeah. It's very jarring looking at it, you know?
You're probably right. I feel like they could do something a little bit more true to the original source material. Yeah. I would say that, the comparison to what Ismahawk did is apt. It's a good comparison, but Ismahawk is making something for their fans who are going to like love what they do, and they're making something for people who already care about Gundam and Power Rangers. Who was the other? Was it
Voltron?
Voltron and Gundam, whatever. See how much I know? Yeah. And people who already love Power Rangers. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's you're already catering to people who love your shit and people who want to see something that is very reminiscent. Yeah. If you're trying to breathe new life into Power Rangers in the form of a Hollywood feature film, I don't know if you can focus as much on the people who want to see something similar to what's already been done. You know?
I mean, you're not wrong, and that's why I said I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna kind of let it do its thing, and then feel it out from there. You know, but as in terms of it, like it really should be something that they probably did more of like a copy and paste kind of thing. You know, just like modernize it. Yeah, because you do this now, the people that are certainly going to go see it, like the original fans, are a little bit.
They're already down.
They're a little thrown off by it, and even the new people, like new fans, they might not be interested in it. Yeah. Who knows, right? I mean, at least you would have like the big time fans of the original series would be like okay with it. But like I said, a lot of people at least should be okay with this and see how it is first before judging it. Because we don't know. Yeah. We don't know what to expect. But
yeah, I mean, and to be fair, like I'm kind of playing this like cynical devil's advocate here that's like, of course Hollywood's gonna like fuck it up and like they couldn't do the same thing, but like I don't know, I mean maybe there was a way to do it and they didn't, and so at this point all anyone who cares about it can do is hope for the best. Go see it, see how it is, and we'll judge it from there. I mean that's all you can really do. Now I'm hoping that it's good because Power Rangers. Hopefully, it's speaking of things that we hope are good.
Okay, here we
go. I gotta jump on it when I can now.
Pounce.
The Han Solo movie will be like a Western.
Han Solo movie.
Yeah, says one of the producers, Kathleen Kennedy.
Yes.
Which is, I think, a really cool tone to take with a franchise that I think is with a world, a universe that I think is hard I think it's actually hard to fuck it up. I think you have to be like actively trying to fuck with it to fuck it up.
Yeah.
So hopefully that means
kind of got the blueprints down.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I mean. And like I know it's possible to really mess up a Star Wars film. I've seen it done.
Oh yeah, 3 times actually.
Yeah. But like you hope that like taking this, Rogue One looks like it's going to be a heist movie.
Yeah.
In a way, like you gather your team, you like have a special mission for them, you do your thing. Yeah, it's like the Ocean's 11 of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, right. That would be pretty sweet.
So hopefully this is like the classic Western of the Star Wars universe. You kind of take these different templates. This template for a heist movie, this template for a classic adventure movie is kind of like a fantasy movie is kind of the template for Star Wars, the proper trilogy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this new look as a Western is like another new magical thing we can explore in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, right, is that you don't want it to be so cut and dry with as far as, like, this is Star Wars. This is what it can be.
This is the box it fits in.
This is, exactly, right? So taking chances like this, like Rogue One and this, is interesting. Because it's still involved that universe, so it's still going to have those sci-fi tendencies. Yeah. But, like, maybe using, like, the formula from a Western or from a heist movie or whatever they want to do in the future makes it so it has, like, a different twist to it that we're not expecting and might not be, like, that could fit fantastically into the universe. We don't know yet. And especially because if they're doing a Western of these two characters with Lando and with Han, it could be awesome. Like,
and for me, like, this kind of removes, I think, some of the risk for franchise fatigue. Yeah. Where, like, you aren't going to see the same kind of Star Wars film over and over again. You're going to see lots of Star Wars films, but at least this one will have a different feeling to it. Yeah, exactly. Ideally. Could be garbage, but we hope
I was kind of hoping that it would be a buddy cop movie. I think that would be...
Yeah, I think... I mean... That would be cool.
Yeah,
but I don't think
Lando and Han just fucking like, oh man, did you see that shot that he made? You're a crack shot. You're a crack shot there.
So to me, what excites me about this, and you're gonna have to follow me on this one because I know you're gonna know what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Remember in the first cinematic for the Old Republic, where you had that cool smuggler with his fucking cowboy hat and his trench coat walking off his getting arrested basically.
Yeah.
Do you think that there is any chance that this whole thing, this whole like hour and a half, 2 hour long movie, 2.5 hour long movie, depending on how crazy they get, can feel as cool as watching that smuggler in the Old Republic trailer? And if you don't know what I'm talking about,
you should look that
go
up.
to YouTube right now and you look up the trailers. Like the trailers for the Old Republic continue to be some of the coolest Star Wars content.
They're so good
ever. Yeah, I gotta say. And like, if you haven't looked it up, just check it out.
Yeah, dude. BioWare with their just like the cinematic,
and
part
whoever does whoever they, I don't know if they like if they contract it out or if they're doing. I don't know who it is, but
it's not only the trailers, but also the cinematic portions of the game too.
Yeah,
are all really good.
Yeah,
all really good, but. To answer your question, I hope so.
Was there a question? I forgot.
I hope so.
I got so excited I thought I spit all over the iPad.
I hope so, but to be honest with you, who knows? Because that's a lot to ask.
It's a high bar.
That's like action, just non-stop, man.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean, like that character as maybe an example of the tone this could take, where he is this kind of like crusty, like old school smuggling guy who but this is going to be in their younger days. I wonder what it's going to look like. That's
what I'm wondering, because I honestly, like, we know who Han is. We've seen him for four movies now.
Yeah, he's been in a few.
We know what his personality is, right? Yeah. Like the only thing that I could think of as far as like his like coming to story is like maybe like something happened to him, like a mentor that he had like passed, or he had like a girl that he was like really serious with and like couldn't take him seriously anymore because he was too childish or whatever. And
something to give him
in the movie.
Something to give him depth. And like I wonder if the other thing, while you're on the subject of like what is Han going to be like, I wonder how much of who Han will be for the audience will be informed by the person who's playing him. Because we've only really known Han Solo as Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like bringing in this new actor brings in a completely different tone to the character.
Maybe like his younger self, like maybe just how he was before.
I'm really curious, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. But honestly, I hope that Lando is in the movie like a good amount. Like they are like good friends in this, and they work with each other.
That'd be cool.
Because I honestly want to know more about Lando and like how he came to be and what he's doing. He's
in Star Wars for like 10 minutes, but like
but
his whole character is taken on like this mythos. Like,
he's got like just. Let's face it, he dressed like a fucking boss.
He dresses like a classy, real like I don't know. He dresses like a boss.
Yeah, right, he dressed like a boss. And on top of that, like it's like in those 10 minutes that you were with him, like that he had like this strong connection with Han Solo, and like breaks that trust. Yeah, and like you're like, oh.
But then like by Return of the Jedi or whatever, he is like a general or like something. He's like back in I think there's a lot to his character that we have to explore still. Exactly. And I think you're right. I hope that it is like 1 and 2. I think I want it to be Han Solo and Lando there like basically the entire time.
Don't even give me Chewie. Like
he'll show up at some point. I'm
sure. Yeah, but like end of the movie, like he meets Chewie or something like that. Leave it with that.
He's like walking out of a bar at the end of the movie and like bumps shoulders with this like, hey, watch it, and Chewie's like.
Yeah, no, I have big expectations for that movie. I'm hoping for a lot from it, mainly because Childish Gambino is in there.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, very exciting, and I really hope that he gets a lot of screen time. Yeah. Like, I want that to be the 1-2 combo. That's why I was saying, like, a buddy cop movie. Yeah. Those two. That would have been ideal, but at a Western, who knows? Yeah. Could be interesting.
Well, speaking of high expectations.
Oh, boy.
Dave Chappelle is producing 3 comedy specials for Netflix.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's extremely cool, and I have very high expectations because I've loved Dave Chappelle's comedy in the past, both from his stand-up and from the Chappelle show. Yeah,
so good,
incredible work. He has a decent motivation, dude. When you told me this, I was like, Dave Chappelle is getting a total of $60 million to produce 3 comedy specials.
Ladies and gentlemen. That is 6-0 with 6 additional zeros behind that for 3 comedy specials that could be like 2 hours long each.
So he's making $20 million per special.
That's unbelievable.
So I mean, I can't really add anything to that conversation except to say, good job, Dave.
Good job for you, man. But this is the thing when you brought it up with me, I was like, how does Netflix expect to make that back?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked, I forget, like, in what context this was, but Netflix, like, generated almost, like, it was an insanely high dollar amount. I want to say, like, $1 billion, but I don't want to just, like, blow that number. They borrowed that much money. They went into that much debt to spend on new original content. And, like, this is a drop in that bucket, I bet, for like Netflix investment. I mean,
it certainly can be.
They seemed, if they're willing to pay this much, some accountant somewhere is like, we're gonna get this back.
I just don't get it because Netflix is like $13 a month for people. Like,
I don't know, man.
Even if you have like 1 million people, that's only 13 million. I don't know. I mean, I hope it works out for them because I fucking love Netflix. As far as I know,
Netflix is still a successful company, and they've been spending money on original content for a while now. So.
Pick up Young Justice season 3.
Check it out.
Looking at you.
Yeah. But that's very exciting, both as like someone who loves Dave Chappelle and someone who loves to see Dave Chappelle making money for what he does.
Yeah, man, good for you.
Yeah. And speaking of Netflix, apparently they're going to be adding offline playback. So
which is good.
This isn't really much of a... We just talk about Netflix a lot, so I figured this is worth bringing up.
You're like, if you like Netflix, they're going to make it so... I don't know if anybody uses the Stars app out there for Stars channel.
Nobody does.
It's really the only show that's on there that I watch is Ash vs. the Evil Dead.
Sure.
But they had this ability for a while now where you can actually download it, play it on the go. So you don't need to have an internet connection to watch the things.
Yeah. I mean, some people are making the comparison to Amazon... whatever Amazon's instant video, where you could do something similar. Yeah. Or I guess like renting a movie from Apple through iTunes. I think you can do.
Yeah, you can download it temporarily. Yeah. So I mean, there were some other better comparisons that you could have made compared to the Stars app, but.
No, I'm saying I'm not. Trying to like. I'm saying like this is like something that I think should have been in the works for a while now. And I guess I don't really know what the downside is. I'm assuming it makes it probably easier to pirate stuff. I don't really know.
I don't know either. Yeah, I mean, unless you like take that device offline.
Exactly.
Forever,
yeah.
I don't know.
And even then, like maybe it has a timer built into the software that.
Presumably.
I don't know.
I have no idea. That's
well above my pay grade.
Yeah,
but it's a cool thing that's happening.
Get paid, but okay.
Exactly. my pay grade being 0. Pretty much anything's above it.
Indeed.
But yeah, so I think that's all the questions all the stories that we have for this week. Why don't we get into some of those questions?
Get into the nitty gritty of the questions. Well, that was old. Well, for Nerd 72. Okay. So the first question comes from our boy Andrew Minimas, aka at 2 Rounds Left on Twitter, as he always does, coming in the big way. He asks,
did you see the tweet that asked for questions this week?
Yeah, you're like, get on there before Zyger and Andrew just take them.
And he just fucking shows up. Like,
well, and here he comes with 3 questions back to back to back. So he says, what are your predictions for or reactions to the Game Awards? Did you have any of this will definitely win?
So this is happening tonight.
Yes.
As of recording, the Game Awards are on probably in like now or like maybe a couple hours. I don't really know.
No, 8:30, 8:45?
Whatever.
The
point is, like, we're not going to be able to react to it live, but we'll have some reactions, I'm sure, next week. As far as this will definitely win, are you pulling up like the nominees and stuff?
I'm going to see if I can.
Yeah.
I don't know how far we want to get into it because it's already about an hour in.
We won't get too deep into it. I think Game of the Year, I think Overwatch will probably take it, or Pokemon Go, because both of those games have done something very different. And if you're looking at, there's a couple different ways that you can think about Game of the Year, right? It's either a game that... wait, is Pokemon Go not a part of it?
Nope.
Maybe I'm thinking
Nope.
of Game of the Year generally.
Yeah. No, Game of the Year, this is Game of the Year,
okay.
Is Doom, Inside, Overwatch, Titanfall 2, and Uncharted 4.
Okay, in that case, I'm saying it's either going to be Overwatch or Inside.
Really?
Yeah, I think, I think it's games that do something different. I think everyone expected... first of all, I think you can take Titanfall 2 and Doom right out of there. I think those were really great games that I don't think are going to win Game of the Year. So leaving Uncharted 4, which everyone expected to be awesome and was.
Yes.
Or 2 games that, as far as Overwatch, like a lot of people feel like it really changed the game of multiplayer shooters and like really almost created or completely redefined a genre. And you have Inside, which is apparently, I still haven't played it, I probably should, one of the greatest like indie-ish experiences that
it's on sale this week.
Yeah, I should look into it.
I haven't played it either. I heard fantastic things about it. I think IGN gave it a 10.
Yeah, a lot of places gave it like quote unquote perfect scores.
Yeah. So I mean,
but it's a question of like, do you look at the game? I think that changed games, or do you look at the game that was like the most excellent at what it did? And even though I think Uncharted 4 could have been that as well, like you could make an argument that it was the most excellent Uncharted kind of game that it could have been. It did the best at achieving what they wanted to achieve. I think it was expected. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost a little hard to go against Uncharted 4 just because, like, as far as being an Uncharted fan, like, this was...
Oh, on a personal level, I think it should be.
The perfect end.
Yeah,
this is the way to, like, just write it off into the distance. Yeah. And I think that, in my personal opinion, I would like it for it to be either Uncharted 4 or Overwatch, but that's because I haven't played Inside. Yeah. Overwatch, I think, is good, but the thing that is a little bit of a downside to it is that it is a multiplayer-centric game. Yeah. And I think that it's nothing bad about that. You think that's
still too much of a stigma?
I think it has too much of a stigma for Game Awards. I mean, given this is, like, the Game Awards, like, is the most, like, kind of inclusive into that function.
Yeah, broad spectrum.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, out of nowhere last year, fucking Splatoon won multiplayer of the game of the year. So, who the hell knows? But
anything can happen.
But at the same time, it's, like, it's hard to, like, because all these people have played the Uncharted series, or at least a good portion of them probably have, and, like, this is something that really just, like, ended on a perfect note. So it's hard to go against it.
Okay, so because this will take too long to do otherwise, let's look at some of our most interesting categories there. And, like, pick your prediction and a short stint on why. Does that make sense?
Oh, man. So I looked up best performance, which is best performance in a video game, right? Sure. 3 of the characters are Uncharted.
Yeah, I think Uncharted wins this category.
Yeah.
Who it is...
It's
between
Elena. It's between Elena, Drake, and Sam.
I think it'll probably be Drake. Just because I think it's hard to stray from the main character. He's in it the whole time. You really appreciate his character.
Elena really came to play.
Everyone did an incredibly good job.
It's so hard to pick.
But if I'm picking someone, it's probably going to be Nolan North.
And to not go up against anybody else, so the guy that played Lincoln Clay, Alex Hernandez.
I think he's going to be hamstrung by the fact that not enough people liked this game. Even though people liked the narrative, I think that's going to be mark against.
And then the Chrissy Jones as Delilah in Firewatch.
Sissy Jones, yeah.
Sissy. That makes sense.
As Delilah from Firewatch, who had an excellent performance, but I think you run into the same problem where
just wasn't as good.
People just didn't love the game enough.
And which also brings you Rich Summer, who played Henry.
Yeah, I think both. I think Firewatch. I really enjoyed Firewatch, but I think I don't think it has enough cachet.
It's the one on here for I've only seen the one is Games for Impact Award, which has 1979 Revolution, Blockhood, Orwell, Sea Hero Quest, and That Dragon Cancer. I only heard of That Dragon Cancer.
Yeah, I don't feel like I haven't unfortunately played enough of these games to really say.
Yeah.
You are facing away from the mic, just
I know. So another one is Best Independent Game, which is definitely up your alley.
Yeah.
We have Firewatch, Hyper Light Drifter,
didn't play it.
Inside,
didn't play it.
Stardew Valley, and The Witness.
Played it. I think in that category, The Witness will win. I think The Witness is an easy candidate for Game of the Year. I'm surprised it's not on the Game of the Year list. And I think enough people really loved it. That is an independent game from a developer that everybody knows, because he basically started the indie game revolution. I think it's going to be The Witness.
And then I think we'll end it off with this one.
I think we should talk about this. I also think it's a bullshit category. Go ahead.
Yeah, so most anticipated game, which honestly shouldn't be a category.
It means nothing. It
literally doesn't. Because, and on top of that, you're putting in something that, it's most anticipated, and look at what it did for No Man's Sky.
Yeah, and it could be a game that doesn't even come out next year or the year after that. We don't even know.
Years down the road. So anyway, the ones on here are God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Mass Effect Andromeda, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
I think Red Dead Redemption 2 wins, but again, I think it's a bullshit category.
I also agree with you on that one, mainly because Rockstar Games, they don't come out very often, and when they do, they make a fucking scene.
I don't think Nintendo has enough goodwill right now to win with Breath of the Wild.
Units out there?
Yeah. I think Mass Effect Andromeda is still going to be hurting from the reception for Mass Effect 3. I think Horizon Zero Dawn is a known quantity at this point. I feel like people know what they're getting from that game, so they're probably less hyped about it.
It's a new IP as well, so it's kind of hard to really get out there. And on top of that, God of War is not a new IP, but this is a new game. We don't really know what to expect.
I think, and I feel like, I don't know, maybe I missed it, but I feel like I don't know enough about that game to be super hyped about it.
That's true. But they did have one epic intro at E3.
I think they did as well. And maybe that's weird to say that I don't know enough about it to be excited about it, because you could easily say the same thing for Red Dead Redemption 2. But Red Dead Redemption 2 has the distinct advantage of being Red Dead Redemption 2. Ladies and gentlemen. For it's a second game from Rockstar that of it already awesome thing. Yeah,
every time that when there is a number after a game, it tends to do better.
Yeah, so. I mean, there are arguments that trend is falling away, but as of right now, it still seems to be going strong.
Yeah, pretty good. Next question comes from, again, Andrew Minimas. He asks, 3-part question. Oh, boy. What are the most
what are you most excited
for at PSX?
That was his bad.
Yeah. What are you least excited for, and what do you think name changes will finally arrive?
I don't know. I don't really know what to be excited for, because I don't know. I feel like PSX is the most mysterious conference where you learn things about Sony, because they can kind of put anything that they didn't get out in the rest of the year there, and you just might not really know what it is until you see it. And as far as name changes, no. I'm gonna say no, because if it happens, I'll be pleasantly surprised, and if it doesn't happen, I will be right. So,
in all honesty, like to expect or not to expect from that conference is very difficult because being there last year, it is something that you don't see a lot of AAA games go to. It is more for their like little lesser known games.
Here's the question though: do you think that changes as PlayStation becomes more and more the dominant platform?
I mean, dominant is a relative term at this point because they have lost the console battle the past couple months.
Okay.
So, I mean, as far as what they can show, considering everything has been delayed to this year or next year, they should have nothing but AAA titles there.
You would think.
But at the same time, this is a conference for the PlayStation fans. More often than not, it is something that you don't see too often, and you'll get a sneak peek at it.
Sure.
Only case that you didn't see that last year was Final Fantasy VII. When they released like that little short for it. But who the hell knows?
Dude, okay. I sent out a tweet talking about getting these questions before Andrew Minoas and Zyger got there. And Andrew Minoas had already done it. He beat me by like several hours. Like when I sent that tweet out, he had already done it.
He's like, I know what time you guys record.
I didn't even realize he had already beaten me.
He's like, listen here, Jack. No need.
I don't want to like misconstrue this. I appreciate the hell out of these
absolutely.
questions. They are always good questions. I appreciate you, Andrew. It's just so funny at this point.
Yeah. Andrew then asked the next question.
It's directed towards Dave.
Yeah, if Dave is on the episode. Yeah. Unfortunately, he's not.
Yeah.
I don't know when we'll have him on again, but
we'll mention it next time if within the call out for questions in case you guys want to send any questions his way.
Indeed, yeah, we should probably do that next time. But I'll let you get Zyger's questions.
Sure. Zyger wants to know, if rumors and speculation are true, PSN name changes are coming. What has been your favorite bad PSN name?
Oh, I forgot to answer that. PSN name changes probably will not come this time.
Yeah,
I'm going to give myself the low bar, hope for higher. I don't know.
This is one of those ones I would have liked to have looked up ahead of time. I should have checked it out.
Yeah, I mean, favorite bad PSN?
I know Kind of Funny has like a running list of like some really good ones. I don't know...
Any of the top of my head.
I know there was like Animated Lover.
Yeah.
Which I've always found very funny. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of like really good ones.
Yeah. I haven't really played multiplayer recently, so I can't like say any that I have seen personally recently.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
But when you play Rocket League, there's always some good ones.
Yeah, sometimes you wonder if you're getting those PC kids in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't really have an answer for that one. Sorry, Zyger. Next question comes from Zyger again. Asking if Kelsey and Kate are guests on this episode. Did the petition work? If not, where did you go wrong?
Where we went wrong is in thinking for even a second, and you're all guilty of this as well, that two people who have a hard enough time coordinating their own schedules could add in their significant other's schedules and not end up with a complete clusterfuck.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm saying...
it's very unlikely. Keep in mind, the only reason why that Dave was on it is because he literally works the same hours as me.
He's right here.
Yeah, and he's literally right above us almost all the time. So, as far as, especially with Kate, her work schedule is
sometimes wildly different from mine.
Yeah.
And again, like I think it would be a bit of a job to even convince her to be on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Kelsey is like this week would have been the one to work with, but she actually went somewhere tonight. So but that's fine.
Didn't work out. Sorry,
no.
everyone. Don't give up hope yet, but also don't hope too hard.
Don't too hard. No.
You can go ahead. Oh, I'll take it. No. Fuck you. You took the last one. Patrick Searles wants to know, Patrick surviving very well in Nerds Nuzlocke.
Oh, yeah.
Zyger,
who was he again?
Not as much.
Oh, boy.
Zyger went out valiantly.
Oh, Zyger died.
But Zyger was the sacrificial pawn to making the first gym battle workout. Zyger had hit with one more Fury swipe, he would have won and been the MVP. And not only did
didn't you hit that last Fury swipe?
Not only did he not swipe one more time, but also he got he got hit by an Incinerate after the Pokemon who he was facing off against had buffed itself like 10 times, and it was a critical hit. He died in a glorious blaze.
He was literally ash by the time he's dead.
But he said, and then I sent Kaylee out there and won the battle immediately. So, spoilers for Nerds Nuzlocke, but he did set us up very well. Anyway, Patrick Snivy in Nerds Nuzlocke wants to know what's the worst game you bought this year? Mine is Mafia 3. Mine is probably No Man's Sky, even though I still love that game.
I don't think I exactly have a bad game that I bought.
I'm sure I could think of a better one if I tried.
I mean, If I were to be completely honest with you, like, I enjoy the game, but I know a lot of people probably wouldn't, is probably Xenoverse. And I think that a lot of people will probably look at that as a bad game.
Probably.
But I enjoyed it. It got 7.7 on
Sure.
IGN, so like it's not like a bad game, but a lot of people probably wouldn't look at that and be like, oh, that looks enjoyable.
Sure.
So I guess I'll say that one.
Cool.
So,
All right, we got to start slamming through the rest of these.
Yeah. So the next one comes from Patrick Searles again,
What
the
up?
man. He asks, which games have completely blindsided you with their quality? My example, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare campaign was super good.
I mean, like, so I have to dig a little bit deeper. I think personally, Bloodborne is a good answer for me. Where like I thought I would enjoy that game, and then it blew me away by being my game of the year that year. As far as like this year specifically, I don't know if I have a good answer for you. I want to say The Witness, but like there had been so much buzz about The Witness ahead of time that like I feel like it wasn't a true surprise. But my enjoyment of it was. I didn't think I would enjoy a puzzle game that much. And I use puzzle game in quotes because, like, there's a lot to that game.
Yeah. I can't really think of one off the top of my head.
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, most notable in recent memory is probably Watch Dogs because I didn't have huge expectations for that game, and I enjoyed it a hell of a lot. Like, to the point where I'm getting the platinum tonight. Like,
if we can use games that, like, that we haven't played, like, I'm shocked that Final Fantasy 15 is good, as we mentioned. I'm shocked that Watch Dogs ended up good. I'm shocked that I'm considering buying Dishonored 2 because I didn't care for Dishonored 1, and like, but now just reading about it and seeing the scores, like I want to play Dishonored 2. It's been a really great year for gaming, I think.
It really has. Like, there's really no complaints. I mean, the only bad game that people have said this year, like overwhelmingly bad, is No Man's Sky, and like overwhelmingly.
You don't get to talk about that.
I know I don't because I never played it, but I'm just listening to the people.
No, I know.
I'm a man of the people, Jack.
Is this me?
Yeah.
What's Zyger wants to know? What's something you know won't be at PSX 2016, but you would want to be there? It can be anything, even a flamingo. He then goes on to say that he feels like the flamingo was a bad call. The flamingo was a bad example, but the realm of possibility is completely open for you to use.
Me.
Oh.
I wish I was going.
Me too, bud. No, I mean, honestly, name changes. I don't think it's going to be there. I almost know it won't be there. But if it does happen, cool.
Yeah, I mean, the name changes would be awesome, finally. But the problem is that, like, one, we've expected that for like 4 years now.
Yeah.
And on top of that, even if I wanted to change my name, people have like private names, so you can't.
It might not even.
I might not even have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm screwed in that front anyway. So that sucks. But yeah, me would be my answer. I wish I was going. I miss you all.
That's probably the same for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one comes from Z Kerman. If Pokemon were real and you could only choose 3, which would you choose and why?
Oh boy. That's a tough question.
I mean, I feel like partially you got to go legendaries, right?
You got to go like, God. You got to go God.
Arceus would be cool.
Yeah, you got to
God.
You kind of have to go with God.
I always thought Rayquaza was really cool.
Rayquaza. What's that? I don't know how you say it.
I don't know.
I always say
clearly neither do I.
Yeah.
I say Quaza.
Rayquaza.
Rayquaza. And then something small, something I can hang out with.
Squirtle? Pikachu?
Nah. Something like a dog, but not a dog.
Oh, Growlithe.
Growlithe or like a Houndoom. Or
I think Growlithe is cuter.
Growlithe's cooler. Or there's a new one from Sun and Moon, like Rockruff. It looks pretty cool.
I see that,
He's a cute little guy.
But the thing is, though, is like Growlithe, you're like, oh, he's cute and cuddly, and then you're like, all right, bro, I need you to evolve so I can fucking ride you right now.
Growlithe, light this barbecue for me. Like, there's a lot of practical applications.
Yeah, right? He's just chilling there, you're snuggling him, and then he just shoots fire out of his ass.
Yeah, you know. Hopefully not too often. I feel like that would void my security.
There's one more you have to put in there.
No. God, Rayquaza.
Oh, okay.
Something I can chill with.
I think Growlithe would be awesome. Yeah. Also, I don't know how Litten is in Sun and Moon, but he looks kind of adorable.
Litten evolves into like a burly ass.
I don't want that. I just want
you just stay.
I just want Litten. I just want cat form. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, in that regard, like I really do love the starter that I chose the owl. with the fancy little bow tie.
The hipster owl.
Now, at the end of the day, he becomes a cool ghost Pokemon as well. So that's
shit. Yeah, he's just starting ghost Pokemon.
Yeah, he goes flying grass, and then I think flying grass again, and then grass ghost.
That's great.
That's really cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts. Like, why would you not pick that? Like, as much as I like Litten,
fire goes, fire, and then, like, firefighting and firefighting, So, like...
Yeah, like, firefighting has been played before. Like,
which is why I wouldn't choose Litten. And then the water goes water fairy, I think.
That's actually pretty sick.
That's cool as well, yeah. There's no reason to choose Litten besides the fact that it's a cool fire cat.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's in all honesty, what you would have to do is like, if I'm like, hey, bro, I'm gonna keep you restarting the game and trading you my Pokemon, and like, so I have all 3 starters.
That's probably that'd
probably be the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 3 Pokemon for me, by the way. Probably you can't go wrong with God. Yeah. You can't go wrong with God. Yeah. Growlithe is just too fucking adorable. You can't say no to him. And then you need kind of like a bruiser, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, here's what I thought of it after the fact. You could go Mew, because Mew can transform into any Pokemon.
True. And it's adorable as it is.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah,
psychic abilities.
Yeah, Mew's probably a good choice. Not Mewtwo, because that guy's an asshole.
Kind of a dick.
But Mew is adorable.
Yeah,
I have 2 little cuddly Pokemon. I got fucking God.
Yeah, so. and then one of those can turn into whatever.
So and it could be 2 gods.
Yeah,
oh, fuck it.
Joey Malone wants to know, how long did it take you to learn your gadgets, like mixers and cameras? I just got an audio mixer, and I'm learning now.
I still don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's become clear that we still don't. I mean, Fred knows better than I do. And as far as our camera...
it's an iPhone.
It's an iPhone, so it didn't take us that long to learn how to use it.
No, it's... The phone isn't the problem, it's the mixer.
Yeah.
But as far as like it working...
To be fair, we were using it effectively with the correct programs until there seems to be a hardware malfunction. And
until
it's been broken the
mixer just decided to be an asshole, doesn't want to work anymore.
So I feel like it's not on us.
No, it's just jacked right now, so...
What's been tougher, I think, probably for both of us, but I mean, I can't totally speak for you, is the programs necessary for editing are often a bit more complicated than I would like, at least. Yeah. I feel like
once you get a hold of them, like understand them a little bit, it's a little bit easier.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like once, like you are good, but like me, I'm learning some of this stuff now, and it's just first of all, it's like menus all the way down. It's just menu after menu after menu after menu.
Yeah, I'll tell you, like you haven't seen shit until you look at After Effects. Jeez. After Effects is fucking like.
I was going to say well away from that.
It's like Calculus 7.
See, that's the thing. Like Knerds Nuzlocke, I do. And it is just basic. It's so simple. And, like, there's no fancy intro, no fancy outro. It just is simple, and that's the way I like it. And I don't want it to be more complicated than that, because then it's harder to do it every week, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, that's been, like, very easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, anything with Adobe's name on it, fuck that. Like, it's just so much.
Dude, like last night I was editing a photo for Ismahawk, and I was talking to Danny about it, and he was like, "All right, well, I need you to just do like these few little things," and I was like, "I don't know how to do that. I'm sorry." And he's like, "Oh, it's like the basic functions of Photoshop." I was like, "I told you I'm a very light Photoshop user. I know how to do very basic things." So he was like, teach me how to do it, but it was not good.
Yeah.
I learned that I am human.
Dude, Adobe is complicated as hell, as far as I'm concerned.
There's a lot of things.
Do you want to take the next one?
Yeah. So next one comes from Angel Urbana. He asks,
I would say Urbina.
Urbina.
And I always assumed it was a guy.
It could be a girl.
Angel, you gotta let us know what we're doing.
We also probably just butchered your name again for like the 17th time, and you mentioned one time that you should. That's not how you say your name, and we don't know which way
we say your name.
Yes. Anyway, he asks, if Marvel vs. Capcom 4 does happen, who would you like to see in it? Sorry if it's been answered already. I'm behind on the episodes.
I'm certainly not super into most fighting games. So this certainly has been talked about before. I mean, we are into superhero stuff, but I wouldn't even know who would be new to the series, so I don't feel totally comfortable.
I played Marvel vs. Capcom 3 a long time ago, because that was for the PlayStation 2. It was forever ago, so I don't remember who the characters or the additions would be. So I really don't know how to answer that. Maybe, I don't think that Dante was in it, but like it would have to be like old style Dante. I don't know if they still own the rights to that whole thing. I have no idea. So that would be interesting.
Cool.
I don't know, but other than that, no idea. Maybe character from Guardians of the Galaxy.
I feel like fighting games are my biggest blind spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like sports games, like you can play them whenever, pretty much. Like
I play the sports games anyway.
But like as far as like a genre that I feel like I should know more about and don't, I think it's fighting games.
It's like some of the most like hardcore of the gaming community.
Like I know the hell out of Smash, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's not a fighting game. It's like an arcade kind of. I don't know.
There's an argument to be made.
I don't know. Anyway.
A lot of people say no, but yeah, there's an argument to be made there.
Next question comes from Angel again.
Yeah, you should take
asking also if we ever get that nerding out about Dragon Ball Super. I don't think I am going to have the time to put it out. Just know that I like so I did about the first saga. I had it mostly recorded. It was just a matter of putting B-roll into it. But it's just too much time to cut and paste, and I like with everything else I have to do. So just know that the first saga of Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, is great if you want it in a more lengthy format in which that you could, get a full story. TV show is better. I prefer the TV show, honestly. Movie is a quicker way to consume that. It's only like an hour and a half. But it also features something that's completely not in the TV show at all, which is Vegeta being a bitch. He's dancing, and it's just awful. Yeah,
Fun.
It's not good.
Now, sorry.
No, that's pretty much my feelings. Watch the TV show if you would rather watch one, especially because now it's coming in English dub.
Now we are running out of time.
Yes,
so we need to crush these next 3 questions because 3 people goofed it up and forgot to hashtag with Nerd72 and instead responded to the tweet, which I appreciate your questions. Follow the rules. First comes from Eduardo Santana, a longtime supporter and good friend of the show. Do you enjoy the mundane, everyday tasks present in some games? Apparently Final Fantasy 15 makes you plan boring trip details.
Wait, I missed that completely because I was looking at Patrick Searles telling you blew it.
Sorry, what did I do? Oh, dang. Beans, I gotta fix that.
Yeah, we'll deal with that afterwards.
No, I'll deal with that right now.
What was the question?
It comes from Eduardo Santana. He wants to know, do you enjoy some of the more mundane aspects of...
President of Video Games apparently makes you plan boring trip details. Yep. No.
You know what? While I have you here, Patrick... to be fair, I did blow it. But what happens is our whole website is based on like British time.
Oh yeah.
And it's in 24-hour format instead of like 2 separate 12-hour things.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm like doing complex like algebra, even though it's like it's not at all. It shouldn't be that hard.
It's a 5-hour time difference plus the 24 hours.
But also like sometimes we're in daylight savings time and sometimes we're not. So like I just feel like it's more difficult than you might think.
Yeah. Well, you could just also open up the clock app on your phone, look at the time in England, and
could do that. Totally could.
But yeah, as far as mundane everyday tasks, no, I am good. I'm guessing you mean because he says I get to plan boring trips. If you're talking about like if I'd like to farm materials or if I'd like to, I'd have to like craft certain things. Crafting is fine in limited bursts, but I'm not all about crafting or farming in any game really. And I think that's especially in like Destiny when you had to farm like a certain area for chests and certain tasks, or you had to collect a certain amount of things and like hope that it was in there for a sword. Stupid. I don't like that at all. But maybe that's not exactly what you're trying to compare it to, and I apologize if it wasn't.
No, yeah, couldn't think of a good one while I was trying to fix this. I don't know what's wrong. I mean, it's posted.
I don't know.
I'll figure it out in a minute.
And the final question comes from Amy Gilroy saying, "What are ye up to this weekend?" God, I love you. Just the Britishness. Oh my God, yeah. The Irishness gets to me.
Nothing.
This weekend, I don't think I have much planned. No. Practice. I have to go get my tires replaced on my car. Adulting sucks.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're not going to PSX, which is sad, and it feels like that might have been what we were referencing here.
We should be going.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Not in the cards.
Not in the cards. This is so messed up.
Meh.
I'm so frustrated because this happens like that, I don't know, half the time with anything that I post.
Oh, I actually have another question for you about community entry in a minute.
Okay, cool.
We received another email. I don't know if you saw it. But anyway, it's time to close the show out. Yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate you, every single one of you. I'm losing her already.
That's because I'm being a bad co-host.
It's fine.
Sorry, I'm a problem.
Thank you very much again. We appreciate every single one of you watching, listening, but not... I lost it. Whatever. If you wanted to, you can follow us on Twitter. I am Fred_Sully. This is Jack is Gaming on Twitter. Also, if you wanted to know about the news and updates from Nerds Online, be sure to follow @Nerds Podcast. If you wanted to submit anything like Patrick did, and Jack is now trying to post
Fixing it. I found the problem. I'm fixing it.
You can submit your work to nerdsonline.com/community-entry, or you can email it to contact@nerdsonline.com. If you go to the website, you will see the guidelines for how to post and what the criteria is. Other than that, I think that's everything. Is it posted yet?
Maybe.
All right, we're not sure.
It will be posted soon. The problem is that I had it all ready to go yesterday, so the link has yesterday's date in it instead of today's date when it actually posted. So it's part of the link is generated from the current date.
Interesting. Okay.
So.
Whoops. Jacked. All right. Get it? Jacked.
Hey-oh! You feel good about that?
Yeah, I do actually. Anyway, thank you guys again, and keep nerding out. Do you have nothing to say for yourself?
I've just fucked it all up, is what I did. Well, but I did fix it.
All right, he fixed it, but he fucked it up. All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, everyone. Sorry again.
Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share the video if you can. Also, make sure to follow us on Twitter. Keep nerding out.